She said anything.
And then,
I asked her. But if you leave and no one else comes, then we won't.
right, but
Oh,
I don't know, so when we have quorum, it's obviously
Oh,
to
Jenny's
start the
here.
meeting.
Hey, we're good.
Danielle told me that she was gonna be there
Okay,
this week.
so maybe she's just running a little late. Do we have you, Ned?
Matt, are you working on audio?
All right, just a second.
Oh, we can hear you.
We can hear you just fine.
Yeah, I can hear you. I can
Oh,
hear you.
Great.
Okay.
Thank you.
Hey, Jenny.
Hello.
We haven't quite started yet.
It's recording, so.
Oh, okay, great. Then let's start. Meeting started. Uh.
Call meeting to order.
I call the meeting to order. Let's start with roll call. I'm here, Krista Canaan. Ned Dorr,
Present.
excellent. Alder Presley,
here.
Julia Nordike, present. Jenny Brinker,
Here.
excellent. Amy Cox and Mark Walter are excused. Daniela not yet present. Maria,
Present.
excellent. Gang's mostly here. Next up is approval of our agenda. Do we have a motion?
Motion to approve.
One second.
Excellent. Any discussion?
Alder Presley was initiated and who seconded?
Yep,
I
Maria.
did. I'll speak up, sorry.
We should just say our name instead of second. Is that
Talk to my third person.
yeah. It's easier for note taking, that's all.
Joey moves to it.
I like it. I think we should just do it. For fun.
Okay.
All right. Any discussion? All in favor of approving the agenda? Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Agenda approved. Next up, approval of the minutes from our September meeting.
Motion to approve.
Joey moves to approve. Krista will second. Any discussion on approving the minutes from last month? All in favor of approving the minutes? Aye. Any opposed? Approved. Next up, moving right along, announcements. Would you like me to read these, Melissa, or would you prefer to read them?
We have somebody in the waiting room.
You're so in.
Yeah. As soon as I can get to them, I will read them.
No problem. I'm happy to too. I just want
Sure.
to give you the opportunity.
Yeah, okay, so two announcements that we have are, oh, I'm not even seeing the. So Alex Galt, our Clean Energy Connector, is organizing an air source heat pump session at NWTC. Will be held October 24th. This is open, especially to local governments, not just City of Green Bay, local governments, HVAC inspectors. It'll also be open to students, anyone who's interested in learning about air source heat pump technology, as well as contractors. There is no charge, but we do ask for registration. And the QR code is in the packet, so if you are watching online, go into the packet and look at the attachments and there's a QR code. The next announcement is there's a SALT awareness webinar November 11th, and it's online webinar 12 to 1 p.m. There is a attachment also in the packet. This is being sponsored by Joshua's Environmental Justice Task Force. And we have people from the Foxwolf watershed that will be presenting, as well as a couple of people from city staff, from the public works staff. And Emily Hengrillis from the De Pere Sustainability Commission. So that is open to anyone, especially before we need to start salting. So please tune in if you are available on November 11th.
Who's the audience?
The audience, That's a great question. I think it's for anyone.
I've been through Saltwise stuff before. But
Yeah.
yes, it's usually municipal and business, anyone who routinely salts. And has like. Maybe I would say like legal exposure to like if someone were to slip on their property, Saltwise kind of helps educate around. How to reduce salt use and balance.
Is this one being put on by Saltwise though? I don't
No,
think
it's
it
by
is.
Joshua.
It's not. So this one is being organized by Joshua. There is a handout in the packet. I did not print that out,
It doesn't give any more information.
but
It's probably.
it's really to create awareness, and so that's part of the reason why we have a couple, I think she recruited a couple of people from Public Works staff to talk about it. You know, just to talk about like how the city salts, the application rates, things like that, and then what you can do around your home, maybe in lieu of using salt. So I would think it would be appropriate for residents and businesses alike, but, I'm sorry, I have not been organizing the event, so I don't know for sure. And I think that was it for announcements.
Do you have any other insights about that? Or,
Well, it's just like where to promote it.
Sure.
That's what I was just thinking. That's what, if it is more for people who solve. But
Yeah, and maybe Joshua is
Maybe-
promoting it through other means,
Yeah.
maybe through social
it
media
was
as
just
well.
my question.
Yeah.
I
I'm
wonder
more
if
familiar with the one you're definitely the type of.
Saltwise, yeah, there's a QR code, I'm gonna follow it and see if it says anything else. Yep, we would like to educate the public, businesses and organizations on the impacts of salt on our roads. You'll learn best practices to protect our soil, waterways and property from salt. So public, businesses and organizations.
And the air source heat pump training is in person. It is not, there is not a virtual option for that. It's being held at the Great Lakes Energy Center at NWTC. So we thank NWTC for letting us use that space. And that is it for announcements.
Danielle is in the way. Thank you for sharing those. No regular business, so we are on to our informational session. First up is a discussion around our 2026 work plan. So just a refresher, we've talked about compiling all of our ideas and stakeholder input around what to prioritize for 2026. With the goal of compiling all of that, assigning each idea to a specific work group, and then letting work groups between now and our November meeting decide what their specific priorities or initiatives are going to be for 2026. As part of that discussion, we want to make sure we have A, the right work groups, and B, enough support on all of our work groups to be able to accomplish the things that we're setting out to do. So with that, I think we can open the floor for discussion. I have a document ready to take notes. I have a few ideas that I can share. Julia, I pulled your ideas into my document already, but feel free to share them verbally. I have captured them electronically. I'll open the floor.
Are they in the note or?
Nope, they're not in the notes. They're just,
On your running back.
yeah, I just started with my own ideas and from stakeholders that I've talked with. And then I pulled yours in and I figured I'd take notes all in here. Do you want me to start by reading
Yeah.
out what
Yeah.
I have so far? Okay. I'm gonna start with Julia's,
It's a
because
lot.
it's more fun,
Okay,
yeah.
it's more fun.
And what I will say is that there's probably gonna be overlap, and that's great. That just means that there's starting to be alignment.
Yeah,
All
I'm
right.
gonna like cross off mine as I hear everybody else's.
Or like
said.
bold it,
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
hey, that's double whammy. All right, develop a green and complete streets program. Do you want to say anything about that?
Yeah, it's to reduce impervious surfaces and also provide green to implement green infrastructure, so stormwater treatment. It's really getting multi benefits out of a street, which include being a street, capturing and treating stormwater, and then also being pedestrian and bike friendly. And so those kind of are like the three tenets of a green and complete streets program. Other communities develop these programs, so it has to do with like internal ways that you go about doing it, and then also related to any policies and ordinances or programs you need to change so that it's in line with that too. And it kind of, to me, that one kind of lines up nicely with the Green Net Stormwater Infrastructure Plan too. It's like a next step. So then every time a street gets redeveloped, there's all these things going, like thinking about it up front in the planning. Because
Right.
we need nowadays with the more intense storm events, we just need like every surface to be multi-function. Whether it's for the benefit of walking, biking, or stormwater treatment. And we
Mention of
and
that
aesthetics,
in the comp plan. Is that you're doing?
probably. Or I don't. Oh, that one was. Green. I don't remember what it says. Was it?
That just
It's been a while.
moving toward.
You know, I made
complete
comments
streets.
on it quite a long time ago, so I don't remember exactly what I all.
I had a
You know,
lot.
There was a lot of green infrastructure and other things.
Yeah,
But yeah. So
So do you have a-
so that's in the comp plan potentially too.
Yeah.
Great.
Good, step in the right direction. Do you have a recommendation for the work group that would fall under?
That's a good. Climate resilience one? I don't know. That's the only one that.
I think so.
I was like, that's where I was typing it in my.
Okay.
Great.
I think most of mine are.
I just wanted to.
They do
confirm and give you an
overlap with
opportunity.
the ones that overlap are a lot with pollinator.
Yeah.
Help you have that. Okay,
Great.
sorry.
So I captured that would include development and policies, guidance and best practices, and collaboration with city staff.
You're
Is that
very
reasonable.
Yes, that's
Okay.
very well summarized.
That's what I'm here for. You can talk. I'll do my best to capture. All right. Next up was create a fact sheet for businesses about green stormwater infrastructure and relevant benefits and incentives. Anything else you want to say about that one?
No, that was just me thinking when after you came on the tour, you said you were gonna.
Yeah. Awesome.
Do that hard.
Yeah, so I guess preview of what I hoped to share, but one of the things that I will propose is to transition the youth engagement work group to community engagement work group to kind of broaden the scope, including the business community. Maybe that could be a collaborative effort between the climate resilience with the green stormwater stuff and the community engagement work group. All right,
For the fact sheet, did you say for incentives and just
Benefits.
benefits?
Benefits and incentives. I get you, this was the very like off the top of my head thing, so.
great, no,
Like,
that's
if you had,
wonderful. Mhm. All right. Next up, review current residential stormwater credit reduction using green stormwater infrastructure and update if appropriate.
and I don't, this just came because even way before I was even on this commission, I called to find out if I put in a rain garden at my house, like, could I get credit for it? And basically the answer is I have to have like an engineer certify my project.
Mm,
That's not really like really realistic, so I thought this would be this seems like a policy type small thing, you could kind of reduce the barrier pretty easier, and it would provide it, if you updated it to be more reasonable for a homeowner, it could provide incentive.
Well, we do say that in the, in our code updates, when we did all the green stormwater infrastructure code updates. That the updates that people make, whether it's permeable driveways or sidewalks or
Yeah, but
reducing their pervious surfaces, so it is a thing.
it exists, I'm just
Right,
saying, it's
right,
not
right.
gonna, I bet no one uses it, because you have to have the certified engineer come check the hole you dug and put some.
And so we'd have to verify if that's even true,
Yeah,
truly.
yeah,
I mean, it would
yeah.
be for a business claiming something, like, oh, well,
Sure.
we,
Yeah, that's the point,
Right.
is review
Yep.
it and see
Yeah,
if it
yeah.
could be. I feel like it could be a potentially small, simple thing that you could use for, if you wanna go towards community residential. Supporting, promoting green infrastructure, something to look at to make it less of a barrier.
I don't think just on that alone, people are gonna think of that as an incentive. As far as their stormwater rate reduction, because it's very small. So I would be careful about how you phrase it. As far as it being like, you know, you're gonna pay your
Yeah.
permeable driveway off in, 5 years because of your stormwater reduction benefits. I'm just putting it out
I
there.
don't disagree. with
Okay,
you. I just-
okay.
It's more like, if this isn't a priority, then
No, I mean, in
there's
general,
way too many ideas. for
it's a,
things to do.
it's a priority in general. I'm
It's
just
good
saying like
principle.
that alone is, I don't wanna oversell that part of it. That's all I'm
Some
saying.
potential
Yes,
implementation
yeah,
challenges on that one. So what I did.
Oh, go ahead.
I just wanted to say, just practically, what I did is I combined this one with the prior one and just did share public awareness around GSI benefits and incentives. And then I did one for the businesses for GSI, and then one to consider the residential stormwater credit reduction, kind of one focused on business, one focused on residents. Is that reasonable?
Like promote and educate GIS impacts and incentives. And then in that sub goal would be review current incentives and update or break down barriers or something.
Like education, businesses. Okay, awesome. Anything else you want to say on that one? Cool. Fund a cohort to go to the Green Schools Consortium of Milwaukee Green and Healthy Schools Conference in August of next year. Anything you want to say about that one?
It's just on my idea list.
Yeah,
They
no,
have
that's
an
great.
incredible, I think there's people who have been pulled into that group, Ned and Melissa, maybe. Yeah, and I don't even know what's going on currently, but I just
Nothing.
always thought it would be really great. They always have an amazing conference down there to highlight the schools and what they've done in their program. And just to go, I thought a cohort might be interested to go down there and go to that conference just to see what the program's about.
A couple of follow-up questions. One, is it an annual conference or is it just August 2026?
It's an annual conference that happens in August.
Always in Milwaukee?
Yes, or around that area.
Okay,
Yeah, or the Milwaukee, within the Milwaukee public school system.
okay, awesome. Funding, do you have thoughts about funding sources? Would it be like grant writing? Would it
I
be like,
would ask a grant funder.
it would need to be grant funded?
Yes, I would do that.
Okay,
And we get a coach bus and so, yes.
awesome. Okay, I'm just trying to capture some steps.
Yeah.
And would this also be the climate resilience?
Sure.
Or do you recommend another work group?
It's around greening our schools, so
Do we have, so maybe
I'm not
also,
involved in that part, so, but you can put it under our plan.
Would it be under maybe clean energy?
No, it would be more the healthy habitat one,
Habitat,
or
okay.
it's climate. It depends if you're talking about green infrastructure, and that goes under climate resilience, that's not.
Yeah.
I'll throw down community engagement as well. Since it's sort of like essentially like youth campus situation.
Yeah, see, that would be cool too.
Yeah. Anything else you want to say about that one?
Nope.
All right. Develop an economically and operationally sustainable rain barrel program.
Here forever.
Don't worry, I have a long list too.
Okay.
No, I did too. No, this is the
The
point.
Rain Barrel program has been very successful when you add, but I think the goal would be to really develop something where it's economically sustainable for the city, and that's what most programs do, like in Milwaukee or as in or many communities sell rain barrels.
Mhm.
And then also whatever the city staff needs to make it operationally sustainable. And then I think it would be wise to include monitoring and like evaluation of the program in there too.
Anything else on that one? Is this? It's not exactly, do you have a suggestion for a work group that this would fall under?
Climate resilience.
I think there's like one that's not, Ned's nodding.
All right, no, that's good. This is the point of this. Okay.
Yeah.
Work with Julia. Okay, I was like, wait, did I get this wrong? Did I change it?
I
Okay.
think we need more members for that work group.
I'm 100%. No, I mean, that's the point of
I
it,
know.
is to say, hey, where are our
Yeah.
ideas centralizing and do we need more support and where is that gonna come from? So
Mhm.
this is perfect. We're doing great, guys. Don't.
This is the master
Here,
list, and we'll work it
to
down.
healthy
Right, this is-
habitat.
Healthy
This is
habitat.
the wish list. This is like.
And this is,
Yeah.
I started doing this with Ned last year with the No Mow May thing, and I think we could do something well, and it also really
Did I
relates
miss-
into what you're.
Can you read
involved
it
in.
again? Did I miss it?
She didn't.
I don't think I finished it. Okay,
Okay.
so I'm just gonna say, develop science-based and consistent messaging for the promotion of pollinator gardens and lawn maintenance best practices. So I just literally copied and pasted what you said to me. I didn't. So when I read that, I was like, wait, did I change that? I'm confused.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I honestly, like for that one, I think that UW Extension, they've done all of that. We just need to repackage it or promote it in a different way. They've done all of the science with,
That's what I mean.
With the
I'm
long-term
yes, but I'm
management.
not,
Yeah.
yes.
To promote it.
That's why I said
Right.
work with me.
Yeah.
Well, bring in that science information
Right.
and have a good, make some decisions,
Yeah.
discussion around it. That's.
So promote and educate.
Cause I
the
do have
public.
I can pull that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Okay. Anything else you want to say about that one or anyone?
That one goes along with, cause
Yep.
kind of get something set up before next year for the
Mm-hmm.
growing season.
So
And it
target.
probably goes along with a lot
Board
of stuff
thing.
you've been doing too. Yeah.
Yeah, I have some really exciting updates on that when we get there.
Input. All right. Create a user-friendly and public-facing pollinator corridor platform to collect and highlight pollinator gardens throughout the greater Green Bay area. So
That's
healthy
all-
habitats.
Yeah, and that's something that was barely work, or I don't know, there's a backstory that would be going into.
Yeah.
But she knows what I'm.
Good. Anything else you want me to capture on this? Like what would go into it or?
So I had a very similar one that just
Great.
said, because we have the pollinator map
Mhm.
created, so promote the pollinator map, engage the public, and expand the mapped plantings.
And my piece is develop that user friendly platform so people can enter their pollinator gardens with.
Yep.
and maybe that's something we could connect on the resilience and sustainability hub, since that's, been created now.
I don't envision it being possible for the public to submit anything. Because it's just gonna. It would have to be completely separate from our current data, otherwise it's going to have the potential to corrupt our data that we have. As far as human error, technology error, mapping error, it just adds a lot of things where there's potential for them to maybe put a point, like their home address, but not to map it, and we won't get like the data that we would necessarily
Like the
need.
acreage or.
The acreage, is it really like, is there something in bloom all season? So like what we claim as pollinator habitat has something in bloom from April to October and has more than 50% flowering species in the mapped area. And that's like very base, like
Mhm.
cutoffs, and so then it would take more of the educating the public on, what that is, and not being like, oh, I have hostas, and mapping that.
So I added,
Can dilute the map, but I think having that public facing interactive map where people can look around and then expanding the potential to add, and I think it would be more likely that we could create like a request form. And the idea that I had was to tie it more to the Plan Natural Landscape. So when people register for the Plan Natural Landscape, we could just add like a checkbox, like, do you want to be included in the pollinator corridor? And then if so, then we could, come map it.
Right.
I think that would keep the quality of data at the level that it's currently at,
awesome.
or create a totally separate one, but I'm not gonna mix data. We did that once and had to remap it, and it's not fun.
All right, I just realized the time. Joey, I know you have to leave soon. Is there anything you want to add to this list before we keep going with Julia's?
No.
Okay,
Keep going with Julius.
okay. If you'd like to share any follow-up by email.
Yeah, I'll watch the meeting.
Yeah, sounds good. Okay. And yeah, if you want to log in virtually and then just share your thoughts from your phone.
While I'm driving, seems very unsafe.
Well, just off the top of your head, don't look at anything. But then maybe that's just how I drive. Okay, thank you. Safe travels. All right, don't do anything else.
Talk to you later.
Thank you. Okay, then I'm gonna go on with Julia's list. Research development of landscaping or construction code that prevents compaction of turf grasses for improved infiltration of storm.
This is related to a presentation I saw at the American Public Works Association conference last year where Steve Grenier was at, and he thought it was a great idea. And it has to do with when they lay turf grass down, you know, for like residential properties, like practices like actually underneath the subsurface, and then also practices when you lay it down not to compact it, because once you roll over it with even like a truck or something,
Mhm.
then it's like basically an impervious surface. So there's some people in the state who have been thinking about that, how you could do it, so it's.
So what would go into it? Coordination with city staff, policy development?
Those two things, I guess. Research,
Would that,
I'm research to figure out what it is.
would that tie into the one, like two before, when it was like the promote and educate the science-based language for best practices on lawns?
No,
Or
no,
is
no,
that
this
just
is like,
separate?
This would be like during construction?
Mm-hmm.
so it's not easy.
No, it's not.
It's not a simple, but it is a city type issue, which I find that alders and stuff, like that's kind of what we deal with as policy and codes and
Yeah.
ordinances, so. And again, Steve thought it was a good idea, so. And then I think I mentioned to you, thought potentially, but yeah, why not?
Great.
We could explore it.
Mhm. Yeah, it'd be good to see the presentation or the references that were used.
So this might be a good presentation to the group even.
Yeah,
Idea?
Maybe I could, yeah, at least start with the person who gave the presentation and see how they would present. It's super like policy wonky, so I know we had people on this, looking at UNED. It would be all over.
He likes policy.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's our policy guy.
That dress like for the meeting tonight.
Yeah. Great. Anything else you want to say on that one? All right, next up, identify barriers for participation in the Green Stormwater Revolving Loan Fund Program.
It's pretty straightforward.
Anything you want to say about what might go into it, or who would? It sounds like a public engagement.
No, it's
No.
like more like like going and talking to people, and then maybe in a more formal sense, I come from like a research kind of
Yeah.
thought process, but the like figuring out, talking to staff and actual people
Mhm.
that I don't know, I would have to think about that more, about how you would do that, but I think that would be informative.
Great, and this is, I'm kind of assuming, but
Or
this
it
is,
could be like also not just identify barriers, but like identify people who would be more likely to do it. Cause I think that's a big, like, probably just even that too, is like there's no targeting of like the people who would actually consider doing it.
so maybe some public education.
No, it's not
Oh.
education. This is again, like kind of
Mhm.
figuring out about the program, like identifying barriers to participation in the program. And who an audience, like a specific audience would be.
But we have the program.
Yes.
Yeah, so
we
you're
have the
saying
program.
why aren't people?
It's just that we haven't
using it?
had much interest in it,
Yeah.
and I have a lot of different thoughts on that,
Yeah.
but some of that program design, is what it is, based on the funding amounts and not having it be like for a $2,000 loan, so we have, set a minimum loan amount, which is a barrier for some people because if the minimum is like a $10,000 loan and they can't afford to even do a $10,000 loan, then maybe they won't do that, but you know, in speaking with other staff that administer revolving loan funds for the city, you know, the city has a lot of experience with revolving loans. It's administratively very time intensive. So if we're writing loans for $1,000 or $2,000, it's the same amount of work if it's a $20,000 project or a $10,000 project. We have put more work into it recently as far as identifying contractors that, you know, that do permeable pavement type installations, you know, they're landscapers, you know, and they have experience with this, but Julia, don't giggle.
I'm just laughing because this is what I would do. I would go interview Melissa. I'd write all these things down.
Right, and so I don't know why it's on your list.
Well, that's what I mean.
We're brainstorming.
But
happens,
it's
yeah.
not, you know, it's like, it's you definitely have all these ideas, but it would be, it's more, you know, it's also
Formalizing.
formalizing
What we're gonna
what the
do.
issues and. But if you don't feel like that would be helpful to go, I mean, you already know the problems, so. I don't know.
All right.
If you don't feel like it's a priority, that's fine to me.
To me, I wouldn't put it on the list of priorities for 2026 because staff is looking at this. But is it the top of the priority list for green stormwater infrastructure programming in the city? No.
That's good.
But it's still a program that can be utilized by the public and we do promote it. But as far as barriers, you know, we don't have the staff resources. So one of the barriers is a lot of people want to have someone come out to their house for free, give them an assessment and tell them exactly what to install. Well, we don't have the staff people to do that. And we're not, you know, not all of us are engineers where we even could do something like that. So there are steps that the property owner needs to take to be, you know, to be able to utilize the program is the bottom line.
100%.
Yeah.
I feel like, yeah, I'm not saying the barriers are with staff at all. I think it's definitely more the
It's-
people barriers.
There's a lot of different factors. So
But it's a good program, however, it's underutilized.
it has not been used at all. We've had it now for a full year. And we haven't had anyone, except for one resident, contact us and they're seriously looking at it, but we're already running into a potential barrier.
So
So
it seems like there's opportunity here, whether or not it becomes a priority
Right.
for your work.
I just don't want you to think that if it's on this list, it's
Nope.
not being looked at. It is already being looked at. That's why I don't
Yeah,
want it on
that's
the
okay.
list.
This list is meant to be comprehensive. This is not the final list of things we're gonna tackle in 2026. Want to get all of the ideas out there,
All
so.
this stuff's not.
Thank you.
2026.
Right.
That's,
What do you mean? But that's
you
part
said
of,
brainstorm.
yeah, and that's
Yeah,
part of what we
I-
want
that's all
this.
I did.
And staff has, you know,
Yeah.
as staff, we have the. You know, we're allowed to speak, you know.
Awareness.
For the awareness of the
Yeah.
commission as well. I mean, that's part of our role.
Mhm.
So I'm just kind of telling you how it is right now as far as that program.
We
goes.
just-
That's a no. Just cross that one off. the
I'm
list.
gonna leave it right there, because this discussion tells me that there's opportunities there, and it doesn't have to be a priority in 2026. Part of what we wanna do here is help ourselves
With a master.
make sure we're focusing on what our highest priorities are, so that when things come up and we're like, hey, that's a great idea, we can go back to, okay, but we already decided it's not a priority.
I mean, that one to me, if, you know, you're looking at it too, it could be more like, how can, the commission support, like, finding resources to
Mhm.
help that program too.
Mhm.
If you already like understand that, like I don't know what you know.
Yeah.
So like,
Yeah.
if you already know the barriers, that's great. Then it would be more of a conversation about like, oh, well, what can like someone like me or the climate resilience work group do to help like actually overcome those barriers?
Sure.
Mhm.
And we welcome that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think there's gonna be opportunities here too, right, with the accelerator cohort we're doing with businesses next year. There might be overlap with something like this too, so. Awesome, love that we're capturing it. Last one I have from Julia. evaluate citywide recycling bins and practices, identify major challenges and opportunities for improvement, and pilot practices for improvement. I will say, I've heard this from a lot of people, this kind of idea, so don't shy away from it. Anything else you wanna say about that? Yep, I think this would be waste work group.
That's where I put it, but I didn't know if.
Yeah.
Fully fit.
Too bad Mark's not here tonight, cause he's getting tasked with a lot, I think. Snoozy Lou, sucker, okay, who wants to go next? Unless Julie, do you have anything else you
No,
wanna offer?
no way.
Okay.
I might add, apparently, no.
No, this is great.
It's good.
I'm so glad. Great ideas, great suggestions. Okay. Do you want to do should we do someone online and then we'll go to you? I know you're ready. Maria's ready. Jenny, Ned, Daniela. Any of you wanna jump in?
I just had a really quick one. Krista learned about it when we met last week. I in going through a process with the MREA for the Green Bay Public Schools, which offers to facilitate a request for information process. We know that geothermal tax credits are continuing, for example. So we are potentially helping a Green Bay school just request cost quotes, system information, so they can use that information to help them plan out budgets for a potential energy project. I don't know what this would look like, but I thought that if we work with perhaps some interns at UWGB, I have not asked them about this yet, or NWTC, and myself, I'd be happy to help. I'm not sure if we would facilitate something like this for city buildings or for maybe the large energy users work group that we worked with and limit it to a number of potential businesses or buildings that we could handle. But yeah, I guess that's just one big idea I had, and I guess that would be a way to keep the large energy users group engaged as well.
So this will be for the clean energy work group. Does that sound right?
Yes.
And is the best way to capture it, extend the RFI opportunity to other community partners?
Keep it general. That sounds good, and we can frame it later. Thank you.
Yeah, great, thank you. Maria?
Okay, my list is a little bit longer as well,
Great.
so hopefully you don't feel too. So, and mine are not as thought out as all of
Don't
yours,
need to
so
Hit
feel
it.
free to like wordsmith it.
Yeah,
But kind of looking at I don't know if it's researching or looking at and evaluating city vehicle use and restructuring city vehicle use. Specifically looking at like there's a lot of city vehicles that sit unused because, for example, in the Parks Department, every park staff person needs to have their own city assigned vehicle, but they're all sitting in City Hall. So we have like 7 vehicles that sit in the parking ramp that aren't being used. And so kind of restructuring and finding what the true need of city vehicles, and then kind of to take that along, maybe come up with like recommendations of like I don't want maybe EV, but more efficient vehicles as they come up for need. So if we look at it and we see, the Parks Department could reduce its vehicles by, could reduce by 10 vehicles, and in 5 years we need to replace vehicles. There's a graduate student at UWGB who is doing this for Appleton right now, and doing a study on kind of what Appleton's vehicle use and like restructuring and the potential for EV and where it's likely, and making recommendations. So kind of doing something similar.
Can I see
Yeah.
it?
Please.
As part of the clean energy plan, we did a fleet analysis.
Mm-hmm.
And so all of the city's fleets, vehicles, parks, public works, across the board. So we have a very, very detailed
Mhm.
analysis of when they're due for replacement.
Exactly, yeah.
All the miles, so, what's interesting though is, they're sitting unused, right? That's the missing piece.
That's the missing piece,
That's-
using the data that we
Right,
have and.
Right, so I'm
applying
almost
it.
thinking like, if we're able to do a deeper dive on that.
An analysis of the
And
data
it's
that
more
we
of
have.
like. An app-based thing, like when you need a vehicle, you can quickly sign one out, it doesn't necessarily mean that. And I don't know how parks is structured, but
It's not.
like how you have. Do you have like? More cars than you actually need, like there's one per person, but maybe that person only uses it a couple times a week. So it would require more coordination.
Car sharing.
Yeah.
Yeah, car sharing app or something where it's like, maybe there's one car for
I
every
mean, we've.
two,
in other
two employees
places-
share one versus
Yeah, we've done like
something like
other
that.
places that I've worked, like it's just been an Outlook, shared Outlook. Where you like can reserve, like we reserve rooms, you
Yeah.
just reserve a
And that's
vehicle
what,
and.
that's what we do in Public Works.
Yeah, and so just kind of
Yeah.
looking at taking, because I knew that we had like a really great like data set and then
Yeah.
taking that and making it realistic. Like we have the data, but like how is that really being used?
Okay,
Um,
interesting.
and partnering with like an intern or graduate student or that.
Do you have a recommendation for what work group this would fall under?
I kind of thought clean energy, but I don't really know if it.
That's what I think.
I think it
It-
sounds
I
like a
think it-
clean energy thing, but.
Yeah.
Cause it's.
I agree. Yeah.
Awesome. And Jenny's the leader of that one, so she agrees that you're on track.
Good. I was like,
Leader.
That sounds like climate resiliency.
I did also
I
like.
say waste.
I tried really hard to think of an idea for each of the groups, even though obviously I am new to the group, so.
Give everyone some work.
It's just a master, let's just
Yes.
brainstorming.
Yes, all right,
Um,
excellent. Anything else you wanna say on that one?
Nope.
All right,
then moving on, and this is kind of something that's already being done, but really supporting the funding for the East River flood storage projects like East River Emily and Van Bieber that's already been going, and what supporting means, I don't know.
okay. Supporting for,
Just keeping that on the radar to like
Yeah,
keep
sure.
pushing through.
am I right to call it flood resilience?
Yes.
Yeah.
Initiatives related to
Mhm.
Yeah,
floods?
support flood. Yeah.
Nature-based flood solutions.
Yeah.
You could add.
That
on
goes
there,
into,
I was just
that
trying
goes
to-
into her work group
Yeah.
too.
Mhm.
Definitely.
Oh, yeah, now it's- and now it's-
Habitat for
But I-
all. It really,
but I-
there's a lot of
if you would
crossovers.
like- I was just talking to you before the meeting, potentially about doing a little partnership on a
Mhm.
grant for more community engagement,
Mhm.
neighborhood engagement
Yeah.
around those projects. And
Ooh,
including
yeah.
working potentially with the.
Wait, we need to capture that idea, don't we?
Well, I need to make sure people wanna do that first. And it will happen if they want to. Yes.
I think it falls in like when we were saying like support and promote, I
Mhm.
think that idea would touch a lot of them. But I just wanted like, again, first time being on the commission during this process, so I just wanted to make sure that I was targeting and calling out things that we wanted to put in our work plan to keep it at the forefront of our minds.
100%.
I
It's
think
always
it's
a good
things that
idea,
We're already doing those things, but
but it's a good idea to capture the things that you're gonna do anyway. Otherwise you end up overcommitting. So
Mhm.
I think that's wonderful.
another one, either in climate resiliency or habitat or healthy habitat for all. I'm going down like the list and how I have it bullet
yeah.
pointed. Is to support, I don't know how to word these things. Basically, do an analysis of underutilized turf grass and convert into native vegetation / GSI. And it kind of like you all did along the East River for flood storage, but kind of like look at these unused turf grass areas, kind of like.
When Suprema, she did one for UW Green Bay campus for me. That was
Yeah.
my First project.
Yeah,
So if you wanna
that's
model-
exactly what I was thinking of, is like looking at the aerials and yeah, I forgot about, I was like, there's a project that I saw.
But I.
That was
I
similar
think
to
I
that.
feel Like she wrote down the methods too,
Mm-hmm,
how she did it too, so.
yeah, just kind of having like,
Goes in habitat.
I wasn't sure, 'cause I was like, cause it was
I will
PBGSI
support it. It
and
totally is, there's a absolute 100%.
there's so much over, yeah.
Turf grass replacement
Mhm.
is definitely a stormwater thing too.
Yeah.
Thing.
That was the last one I had kind of in the climate resiliency one for you, so.
Okay.
Then the ones I had in Healthy Habitat for All, and this was a very blanket statement that kind of included the map, but continue supporting the pollinator corridor, promote, educate, and launch a public facing map. Kind of one that we already touched on. And then the big one, launch a plant kit giveaway as a replacement for No Mow May. So the Conservation Corps applied for a grant to fund this for this spring, and we should hear back soon, but I got confirmation from the Green Bay Botanical Gardens that they're gonna, so the grant's for 100 kits, 15 plants per kit. The Botanical Gardens is going to match that and do 100 kits. And then talking with Justin at Stone Silo, he wanted in on the project, and so he's gonna also match it and donate 100 free plant kits.
Nice.
So we're potentially, with the grant going through, we'll have 300 free plant kits ready to go for plant kit giveaway in May.
Awesome.
So launch, promote, I don't know, support,
Mhm.
whatever.
Do you know
however-
when
whatever
we'll hear on the grant?
I should hear in the next probably 2 or 3 weeks.
Okay.
I was supposed to hear like in mid-November, and we're already like
Yeah.
October, man. So, and if we don't get the grant, the Conservation Corps could probably still do probably like 50 to 75 kits, so we might just be a few shy. But
What was the, I know I've heard this a couple times, but Stone something?
Stone Silo.
Silo, thank you.
native plant nursery.
Yep.
Yep.
I know that part. I didn't know the second half of their name. Okay.
Yeah, I was at a seed collecting event last week, and I was talking with Justin, and he's like, I'll match it. And I was like, okay.
That's awesome. That's
yeah.
super exciting. Is that part of your update for later?
Yeah, that was an exciting update.
Awesome.
And then just for kind of that same plant kit giveaway, the Botanical Gardens is also going to do another plant giveaway for Mother's Day as well, and give away, I want to say it was like 2,000 native plants as well. So lots of free plants coming next year. Next one in the Healthy Habitat for All was celebrate, promote, support, continuing the city's acknowledgement in the Bird City / Tree City and Pollinator Week celebrations.
Bird City and
Tree City.
Tree.
Do they do it around Arbor Day?
So City of Green Bay has been a tree city since the start of the Parks Department for a very long time. It's just an online application that we have to submit. Same with like the Bird City.
We're not one.
We are. We are.
So I get to maintain.
Oh.
We just have to maintain a certain like thing. Same with the Bird City. So it's a pretty extensive application, and there's an application fee that comes with it. But then we've been listed as a Bird City and a Tree City, and so just celebrating and promoting, and then supporting some of that work. Everything.
Anything else that you think would be needed from the commission to support that work? Anything specific?
I mean, the Bird City one, that application's like 7 pages long. And it's a little ridiculous. So if there were to be a commission person who is interested in birding, who would like to, partner and support, that application is done by myself and the Bay Beach Wildlife Sanctuary naturalists are the ones who do that and pay for the application fee. But it's on a point system. You have to get like so many points, and so you have to like answer all these different questions, and you can skip some questions, but the more points you get, you have to hit that threshold to be considered a Bird City. And so some of those things in the Bird City application that would relate kind of to this commission is, one of them that popped in my mind is, does your city have a policy on feral cats? For bird protection.
So is it good or, so it's,
You don't want feral
Yeah,
cats.
yeah. You want the
to
policy
improve-
on-
yeah.
You won't have any
Um,
birds left.
do
And
we
so-
have a policy on
no.
feral cats? Alright,
So
support
there's some that's
policy
like, does the
development.
city have a policy on these different practices? And then if you can upload the policy, then you get 10 points towards your goal of points or
I would
whatever.
love to list on our like accomplishments for next year, feral cat policy. Let's prioritize that.
There's like a lot. So maybe it's more like, research and improve our Bird City application.
Yeah,
And I haven't looked at that in a year, so. That one always just stuck with me because it made me laugh.
yeah, me too.
Does that mean the rat population's gonna go up?
Less feral cats. Dude,
It's like this balancing
if
act.
only rats could eat.
The food chain.
Yeah.
I was like, we do have rat policies and ordinances, so.
Do birds eat rats? Are we promoting any of?
Don't eat rats typically.
Do rats eat birds? That'd be scary.
They
I
would
don't
eat
wanna
bird
know.
eggs.
I'm just watching that.
Okay,
Cool.
I'm getting off topic.
All right.
Go ahead, yep.
Next into the waste reduction one.
Mhm.
I only had one, and it's one I think that we already kind of have on, but just keeping it on the forefront again, but establish an internal composting, at City Hall, Park Shop, and DPW shops. And maybe establish is a strong word. Maybe it's, research,
Pilot.
pilot.
That's a good one.
Pilot. And then in parentheses, I put GBCC, if that's a new initiative, with the Conservation Corps, like internal, like at City Hall, if we got every department to have like a centralized location, then Conservation Corps could pick it up if we got, the bins running at Sanctuary or something,
Mhm.
like we've been working on.
Yep.
So like kind of expanding upon that.
Yeah, we'd have a place to take them. Okay.
Once that gets established, so,
I will add here that,
but internal to like start that.
Correct.
mhm.
Yeah. This isn't a public facing.
I was like, I don't think
No.
Conservation Corps could do a public one,
No.
but like a one stop, like City Hall to Sanctuary,
Mhm.
that is feasible, I think.
This is one for what it's worth that Mayor Genrick would like to see also.
Mhm.
He's a big fan of, like, he suggested doing it at City Hall.
Yeah, I
and
think
doing-
there's just like more logistics to like think through and work through before like city staff would be ready to implement, but I think that's something that commission could help kind of do the
Yeah.
research and the pilot and everything.
And we did the research, we did some of the research this summer with our intern
Mhm.
for the
Exactly.
Wildlife Sanctuary and potentially here at City Hall with just like buckets or bins and things like that. So there has been some groundwork done. I think the biggest thing, to making it successful here at City Hall is a partnership with Conservation Corps would help to be able to, bring the waste material
To an actual bin.
to an actual bin instead of keeping them out here, which
Wouldn't be maintained as frequently.
really, there's not a good end use place
Exactly.
for the.
You have to take it somewhere anyways.
For the finished compost,
Mhm.
but. I don't think we would have a problem finding compost champions,
Yeah,
on each floor.
I mean, Mayor Genrick suggested that maintenance staff could empty it. He said they're already doing other waste bins. They could easily do the compost also, so.
I think that would have to be a discussion.
it would have, yeah,
Yeah.
internal like.
Yeah,
Yeah, I'm just saying,
gauging
yeah.
interest.
I'm offering that
Mhm.
there is high level support
Yeah.
for this.
Yeah. Again, all of mine are like super like, I haven't really like.
Good,
thought
no,
through
it's
too.
great. Anything else you wanna add to this?
That was the last one for waste, now into the last work group, youth engagement. Now I like your community engagement suggestion. Again, something that we already do, but keeping it in there is promote and expand the youth advisory council. And then the other one, which is another exciting announcement, is to support the Wisconsin Youth Engagement Coalition. And that's a working name right now, Wisconsin Youth Engagement Coalition. That is a newly formed coalition, newly formed as in like it's been around for now 6 weeks. With Conservation Corps, Youth Build, and Operation Fresh Start around the state. So there are 11 programs around the state that focus on youth career development and workforce development, and job placement after service. So it's a group of programs, and we just started formalizing, and we're working through, and the goal there is to build a support in Wisconsin. There's a lot of other states that have these youth coalition work groups. And so we're building one here in Wisconsin and been working with at the state level. End goal would be getting a centralized state office to help with funding, technical support for expanding programs around youth workforce development and job placement.
So should I list that as a potential funding source? The state partners as a potential funding source, or not? Is that premature?
That's premature.
Okay.
Right now it's just a group of programs coming together to share our knowledge and combine our advocacy voices. Operation Fresh Start in Madison is the one kind of taking the lead. They have a little bit of seed funding that they've hired somebody to kind of coordinate this, with the end goal being in a year ready to apply for additional funding that would support like a true collaborative or coalition that would then, do advocacy and all stuff. So
2 follow-up questions.
Yes.
What frequency are they meeting? Or is
we're meeting monthly.
okay? And what's the format of that?
It's virtual right now.
And can like students or interested youth participate directly, or are you participating?
So
like,
this is for the
separately?
programs.
Okay.
Yep, the organizations that are hosting. So
Great.
yeah,
So that
And
would
like
be
I said, we've
hosting
had-
organizations meet.
yep, monthly. And we've had 2 meetings, so that's why it's like we just had our second one this week. But yeah, we have a 12-month plan on establishment and everything, so I should have more information moving
Awesome.
forward.
Great. I just talked to the primary student who has
Mhm.
been leading that effort, and she's very discouraged. And has not felt
I
like
have-
found traction. So
Yeah, I have
Okay.
like 5 students I was gonna put her in touch with at Notre Dame East and actually Franklin Middle School, and I didn't know if we wanted to like get the next group started,
Yeah.
so.
yes, awesome. I think she'll be glad to hear that. Cool. Anything else?
My last one is to promote a central list of scout-like projects for the city, both Girl Scouts and Eagle Scouts across departments, so that if we have the Youth Advisory Council and they're looking for a project, we have a running list of projects that would be beneficial to the city that would be achievable at that level. So boardwalks and bat houses and trails, and those are park department specific ones, but
It's really cool. Do you also do, I feel like you do this already, but you just have like volunteer groups call a lot probably.
we have our
So
new
you just
volunteer
have-
portal
Oh, so you, okay. so
Yeah, we
there is
launched the
already
portal
like a list of
in
opportunities for that
July
already.
or August. Yeah, and we're building that out. It's kind of, we did a soft launch because we're still building out that whole portal. But yep,
So the portal exists. What
Mhm.
you'd be looking for is support with establishing that list of sustainability related volunteer
the
projects.
portal is more volunteer events.
Mhm.
Whereas I see this like list or other portal as being like, because we get Eagle Scouts that are like, hey, is there an Eagle Scout project for the Parks Department? And we're like, well, what do you want to do? And so we've hosted like tree plantings, bridges and boardwalks, the little free libraries, so just having like a central list that we get a lot of like Girl Scouts or Eagle Scouts that like, we want to do a project. It's like, well, here's a list of available projects. Do any of these interest you? And doing it, because we've started creating one for the Parks Department, but create one more citywide and more, sustainably focused where we can help, maybe there's small projects in the citywide recycling bins and everything. And there's small projects in our work plan that could go on the scout list
Awesome.
or youth project. Maybe youth project list is a better phrase.
I called it volunteer projects.
Yeah.
For any volunteers. I think this could be interesting to do a commission meeting to like we're doing here, like bring your ideas. We could do something like that for a commission meeting and then it could live with a specific work group. to
Yeah.
keep developing it and making sure that we're liaising with the appropriate city staff.
Making sure like if something's listed as like in need, like if we need a boardwalk at the new JBS site,
Mhm.
and if that gets built, then we take that project off the list.
Yeah.
But
So what would it be to like, would you want the work group to manage the list or just help establish it
help establish and promote.
and promote? Okay.
Because I think we have like a cool connection with building out that youth advisory council.
Mhm.
And I think the youth advisory council could kind of use that as a tool as well.
Absolutely. So I put it under the community engagement work group. Great. Anything else?
That was my last one, I promise.
Great. All right, next up, anyone else? Daniela and or Ned, you want to go next?
I can go.
Yeah.
Okay. A lot of great stuff has already been covered, and I think I'll stick to just a few things from reviewing the Healthy Habitat plan at the beginning of the year, and some things that need to be updated and changed from that. We would definitely need to remove any terminology around no mow May and replace it with whatever our next awesomely named program will be. I'm looking forward to hopefully, by the December meeting, really having something ready to, replace it with, right? So I know Maria, you're working on those grants and all the wonderful work that you've been doing, and that Botanical Gardens and now Stone Silos is coming on board with the replacement. So I'm very excited about that new program. I think we need to set an implementation date for that program, probably May 2026. That should probably be listed on there. There's a lot in our healthy habitat items in our actions about promoting. And I guess just philosophically, I'm wondering, is that a realistic action? Are we able to promote these things? What is the mechanism that we should be using to promote things like the planting policy, the pesticide use plan, the pollinator corridor map?
That aligns with something that I've been thinking, which is that there's a lot of these. I had a similar thought, right? Like a lot of these are like promote, and I've been remembering some of the challenges we had when there was a marketing committee. But now that there's I forget his actual title, someone on city staff.
Communications director.
Communications director. I'm wondering if maybe the community engagement work group can be one of our kind of key priorities, is to establish a cadence of meeting with the community engagement coordinator. Would you support capturing that as an action item for the community engagement group? And maybe that can, it can be like coordinating with other work groups and liaising with the community. Shoot, I already Communications
Director.
I'm writing it down right now. Director, okay, and liaising with the communications director to get an established channel for a few of these things out. Does
Yeah,
that fair?
I think that's wonderful.
So if you wanna think about taking that off of your priority list and
Mhm.
capture something in the community engagement one more broadly, where we can establish that channel, then I
Yeah.
think
Yeah,
that could
I
still.
think that's good. You know, we've come up with a lot of documents and things that have come through us first, right? Like the pesticide use plan and um the natural, revisiting the natural landscape plan, the water resolution several years ago. There's a lot of things that have come through us that um initially years ago we would post on our own webpage.
Yep.
And then, you know, we stopped doing that, and then we tried some social media stuff and stopped doing that. And so just um, how can we highlight the work that we've done that in a way that's consistent with what the city wants to see?
Yeah. All right, I have that as an assignment to the community engagement work group is to establish a channel with a communications director to promote sustainability commission. Maybe it can, I'm saying work for now, but I'll tweak that language before we finalize it. To more be about like the community benefits or like what's available to the community and community education, kind of doing community education and awareness.
Right. That sounds good.
Great.
That sounds good. Another one would be, and I know this has been mentioned, but this was mentioned at the beginning of the year in the work plan as well, is sharing a public facing pollinator corridor map. Um, Definitely would love to see that online. I don't know how soon that could be done, but we did have it
Will
on.
most likely be done probably within 2 months by the end of the year.
Okay, and that's kind of what I had on in my notes actually, like by the end of 2025 question mark. So
You
Yep.
nailed
um,
it, Ben.
that
Yeah.
would be
I'm
wonderful.
working on it. Yeah, we have them working on. So we're gonna actually be launching 3 interactive maps. One is the Pioneer Corridor. One's just the Conservation Corridor work dashboard, and then one's gonna be our 2025 year in review. So those are all in progress right now.
Can the plant natural landscapes that have registered be added to that?
Yeah. I'll reach out.
Wonderful. Certainly I'd love to see a way for us to come and I this just was talked about and it has been talked about before, but how do we um highlight both of those, the Planned Natural Landscape Registry and the Pollinator Corridor? So I do think those are both aiming toward the same goals, and I know the data sets are different, so would certainly like to see those online. We do have to, as far as point people for the Healthy Habitat, we have myself and Corey listed at the beginning of the year, so that would need to change to myself, and then I would Maria, right?
Yeah. No, I think, no.
Maria said she doesn't like that stuff.
Yeah, she hates plants and all that.
But yeah, I forgot to mention, because I haven't really joined any of the work groups, because I kind of want to see how things fell, but more than happy to join the Healthy Habitat for All, and even that community engagement one, because a lot of the work I do overlaps in there.
Love it.
Wonderful. The last one I had for Healthy Habitat is to revisit. This is something that we looked at a few years ago, and then it met some opposition. So I'm wondering if we can come around a different way looking at light pollution. Um, light Revisit our city light pollution practices, ordinances, move toward a dark sky with while maintaining safe street and sidewalk lighting. And that is a habitat concern at night for migrating species.
Fireflies. I've seen a lot of like firefly conservation kind of coming to the forefront. It's kind of like the Save the Monarchs. I feel like fireflies are now starting to get a little bit more traction. So
Having a moment, yeah. I
yeah,
think you're right.
I keep seeing it pop up, and maybe that's just my algorithm.
That's your
but
feed.
Yeah.
I've never seen a single sphere.
It could be. It could be your algorithm, yeah.
That's fair.
But
That's fair.
it could be, I think that it reminds me of like the Noma May thing, right? Where it was like, it got cool for a minute.
Yeah.
Right? Maybe we can be on like the cutting edge of introducing like a
Make it
firefly.
Yeah. Mhm.
Firefly protection that like catches fire.
Firefly friendly. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Uh,
So yeah, I think those were kind of the big ones I wanted to hit. Certainly Julia had about a million awesome ideas that do have some crossover as well, and so did Maria. So um, yeah, I'm pretty happy with what people have shared about this one.
Awesome. Ned, while you have the floor, do you feel like you and Maria are sufficient for that work group? Are you looking for any additional volunteers?
As far as board members, I don't know that we would need to. I think having Maria is really important as having somebody who works for the city and
And
kind of
hateful?
has
Yeah.
and somebody who can ask, like kind of inside, like what's happening at this park or that park or whatever. Like it's really helpful to have her knowledge and enthusiasm as part of that work. So
Absolutely. Maria's a get on the commission. We're excited.
definitely, definitely. She's my number one draft pick.
Yeah.
That'd be an amazing shirt. That's what we need is just sustainability commission shirts.
Yeah.
But
Represent.
that being said, if anybody else is super interested and wants to jump on board, absolutely. But
You're
please don't.
welcome, but don't necessarily need additional support.
Yeah, I don't feel like compelled or obligated to.
Okay, cool. Anything else, Ned?
Think we're good. Thank you.
Thank you. Daniela, anything you want to add?
Kudos to all the other input so far. The only other thing that's I'm wondering about, I don't know if this has ever been addressed or if this would even be a good idea, but thinking about like food resilience or, like the Seymour Park food forest projects like that. I know New Leaf Foods is a organization that's done some work around that. I don't know if that's something that, I don't have a specific like we should do X in mind, but I am curious if that's something that would fit in with like healthy habitat for all, thinking about edible foods and availability and trying to be strategic about locating that kind of stuff. I think that could potentially be something to add to like the Eagle Scout, Girl Scout projects list of, maybe there are organizations that would benefit from having some edible landscaping or something like that. So just a thought and curious for feedback, any ideas around that?
I like that, and I think I'm not gonna say an easy target, but like one that comes to mind is updating the ordinance around collecting any plant material from parks. Right now, it's against ordinance to collect leaves, grass clippings, sticks, fruit, asparagus. And so you can't remove any plant material, so that completely cuts out foraging or even, collecting apples. And so the way that we've got around it at the Seymour Park is there's a sign basically that it's up to the discretion of the director to make parks exempt from that ordinance. So Seymour Park is exempt from that ordinance, but it's something that we've been talking at the department level is that ordinance should be revisited and updated. Because then we have Bear Creek Preservation Foundation that hosts a lot of really cool like foraging walks, but then they always have to say, we're gonna teach you about foraging, but you can't forage in the city of Green Bay. And so I think kind of, I don't know if it ties directly with what you're saying, Daniela, but kind of like breaking down that barrier, because that's been a barrier for like establishing more edible walkways and everything, because then we're putting in stuff that's against ordinance for people to utilize.
Yeah. No, that's a great point. I didn't even think about that aspect of it, and I think that that would be really great. So if you know, looking at that ordinance and thinking about ways that we can maybe expand edible landscaping across the city in like a thoughtful way, if that could be added to the Healthy Habitats group, and certainly I would be happy to join that group and for support.
Can I respond to that too?
Yeah.
I'm really happy you brought up this topic. It was something that was kind of in the back of my mind. We have had a presentation here on food forests, and it is something that I've been able to do with my own students actually. Along the Fox River Trail, we started a food forest at the trailhead. And I think it's a really cool thing, and it really goes well into that Healthy Habitat for All focus. So, and perhaps not just identifying areas, but also, as part of our, what's the promotional team called again?
Community engagement.
Community engagement,
Mhm.
to advertise some of that, or, like, hey, if you are looking for fresh fruit, these are some food forests in City of Green Bay.
Yeah.
I love that idea, Daniela. I feel like it almost could be its own work group around food security, because honestly, because we also had the presentation, I don't remember if you were here from Rooted In with Selena.
She's here. Yeah.
She's still on.
Oh, hi.
Yes.
And that, like, I just feel like it could be its own thing, really truly like its own work group, and I would totally be interested in participating in that one if it was. I don't know what it would be potentially
Yeah.
called, but I feel like it's more than, it could fit in Healthy Habitats, but I feel like it has its own thing.
Because you could almost even do a bullet point in the waste reduction work group of
Yeah.
like the
Girlfriend, that's
gleaning
coming.
of. Oh, I forgot you still have all yours.
No, it's okay. No, it's good.
But like a big topic is, we're growing this food, but not all of it is making it to people, consumers. So that gleaning and making it more accessible and harvesting could fall in the waste reduction. But like you said, I think because those are so close that it might be its own.
Yeah, I think it's about food security,
Mm-hmm.
and access.
Yeah. I love it.
Yeah.
And I think it 100% overlaps with sustainability in real life. I will say that this commission is tasked primarily with environmental sustainability. So we might be getting a little ahead of our skis to talk about a social issue outside of the context of environmental impact. That said, I think there's a lot of opportunity to start down that path for sure this year, between doing some work on the food forest idea and, maybe through Healthy Habitats. I'm also going to suggest some food waste reduction work as part of the waste work group. Selena has offered some input in that regard too. And then maybe we could kind of see where it goes. And maybe if we find some success in those areas, it could turn into a work group that makes kind of flows naturally, so that we don't get any blowback about like, wait, I thought you did environmental issues and not, social issues. Melissa, any thoughts on that? Am I making things up?
No, I was just gonna actually pull up the charter to reference, the Sustainability
Yeah.
Commission, just to kind of jog my memory, and I hadn't quite quite opened it yet, okay.
I recall from it that it explicitly says like environmental.
Yeah.
stuff.
For when we're talking about this, to me, they're like so
I know,
interconnected
they are.
that I
yeah.
do not see it not as an environmental issue.
Yeah. I'm
And
wondering.
sustainability issue. I mean,
Yeah,
truly.
it's 100% a sustainability issue, there's no question, yeah. I think, I think my suggestion for what it's worth or for consideration for the group
Yeah,
would
yeah.
be, let's start with some of these initiatives in existing work groups, but I'm actually capturing potential work group, food resiliency, and maybe we can build on this first year work to move toward that, because I think it's a great idea. And Selena, I can't open the floor quite yet, but I will open the floor to the public before we wrap this, okay? Thanks for raising your hand. And I'm sure you have stuff to say, and you're absolutely the expert on this. So I just want to acknowledge that. All right. I captured that. Do you want me to put any more about that, like food resiliency or that concept outside of potential work groups at this point?
Well, no, you said you had something around the food waste, so.
Yep.
I think
Oh,
that's where I was,
Perfect.
but
Okay.
it's connected to
It absolutely is.
access and people.
Uh-huh. And you can't separate environmental and social issues, not really, I think, but I think our charter does specify environmental, which, Yeah. Danielle, is there anything else you want to say before we move on from this?
Just to Ned and Maria to loop me in on the Healthy Habitats working group.
Great. Thanks. Jenny, I know you shared one. Did you have any other thoughts to share or ideas?
No, I love everything you guys are coming
All
up
right.
with. Sounds green and happy. Great.
Awesome. Okay, thanks. I have a couple. So I already shared change the youth engagement work group to community engagement, and expand the scope to include engagement with businesses, local groups, public awareness, in addition to youth-related groups. I'm gonna pause for a second. Anyone can jump in at any point if you want to. The next one I have is pilot food waste reduction initiative. So it would include community education. There's a Stop Food Waste Day on April 29th, 2026. So one of our community partners has recommended something along the lines of a food saver challenge to align with Stop Food Waste Day. And then the other bullet point I have under this is facilitate community partnerships to divert food waste. And we do have a community partner in Rooted In who is ready and eager to partner with this commission and city staff to minimize and reduce food waste. This will be for the waste work group. I didn't note that. Next one I have also for the waste work.
Can I
group. Yes.
ask? So for the food waste, is this more encompassing like the diverting before producing food waste? Or is this like using food waste and like composting or both?
So it would be to avoid the need for composting.
Yeah.
Yep.
So diverting
step
the-
one,
yep.
yeah, minimizing waste.
Yes.
And then the next one I have, which I actually see as likely a subsequent year one. So focus on reducing food waste first, and then probably subsequent year, but wanted to capture it on the list, is pilot a community food waste composting program. And I broke down a few steps about what would need to go into that. First one being, and I think this has been the barrier for a long time, secure funding. And then identify and evaluate implementation pathways. So we'd be looking for community partners, bin purchase and management. I can't remember why I got this. Maybe someone on the commission shared it. But there's a Recycling Connections group purchase program for community, like for compost bins. So
Mark did that.
Mark did, okay.
originally.
So I'm thinking that would be similar to like the rain barrel program. That's what I envisioned for it, but it would be a compost bin program. Where the city got funding, purchased however many, and then this is how many we have, and if you want one, you can, come pick it up, kind of like we did for the rain barrel program. And then other implementation considerations would be compost management. I think that's been another barrier, right? What do we do with it if we get people to collect it? And then residual management after it's composted, then what? So there's definitely steps, and I see this as likely a multi-year iterative process. And this is the number one thing I heard from every group of what I'll call stakeholders that I asked about what they want to see the commission do. They all said something related to composting. So there's definitely community interest. So tons of barriers and lots of interest. Sounds like a multi-year opportunity to me. The next sub point I have here is talk with other communities who successfully implemented programs to identify best practices and lessons learned. I know Selena has shared some opportunities to collaborate with Feed Milwaukee. And then I've again had several stakeholders who have asked for a recommended curbside composting as a pickup program. Again, I know there are some barriers there, but just wanted to share in this context that I've received that feedback quite a bit. So lots of community interest. Anyone want to say anything about this one? Okay. Next up, I think we're like, I guess like soft launching this because we still haven't gotten the green light to fully publicly announce it. But the organization I work for in my day job, Sustainable Business Council, received grant funding to do a business engagement group where we kind of teach businesses the foundation of sustainability practices, measuring and managing, and then implement and share nature-based solutions. So we're targeting companies in the priority subbasins of the Green Stormwater Infrastructure Plan to really promote business implementation of the Green Stormwater Infrastructure Plan, and then also the Clean Energy Plans, which has a lot of opportunity for engaging the business community to achieve the clean energy goals. So that one will likely go through the clean energy plan, but I'll also be reaching out about, you know, the climate resilience and nature-based solutions. I think there's opportunities to collaborate even on the idea you had to put together a fact sheet for businesses. That's one of the things that we're doing through our grant is taking like best practices for nature-based solutions for businesses in each of these areas. So something that could have overlap there. And then obviously with the Green Stormwater Infrastructure Plan, Melissa's already been really supportive in identifying businesses that overlap with that. And then my last one is to continue to support the Clean Energy Connectors work. So Alex's funding expires sometime in the next 6 months, I'm fair to say. And so looking for ways to just continue some of the great work that he's established. So a couple of things I think.
You know, my battery's probably getting low, so.
Okay. Well, we're gonna go as long as we can.
It is.
Wait, what kind of, do you have an HP?
I could run back to my office.
No, it's okay, you have an HP?
Yes.
Here you go.
You have a city race. I didn't think we were gonna be here this long.
So yeah, continue to support the work that Alex has done, some ways that I think we can, there's gonna be some things we can't do, right? Like we can't necessarily continue his like newsletter and like all of the community meetings he's been doing. But I think some things we could do is compile best practices for business and residential energy efficiency, or keep working to maintain that. And then this was another suggestion I got from a stakeholder, exploring low cost and nature-based solutions for achieving the clean energy plan. Specifically, she wanted to see rooftop gardens and urban tree planting. So again, my list represents a variety of stakeholders, not just my own ideas. So that's what I have.
I can add a little bit.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
I reached out to department leaders. I haven't heard back from everyone, but I will share what I heard from our public works director. And I'll summarize it, but basically. She said that, she and DPW staff are stretched pretty thin. So I don't have any new sustainability work plan initiatives to put forward at this time. She believes that as a city, we should be doing more outreach related to recycling, waste disposal, etc., both internally and externally. It's a challenge without having a dedicated person to devote time to do the research, provide content, or develop a campaign. On the water side, we do have a relationship with the Fox Wolf Watershed Alliance and News as members, so we do have region-wide outreach support through that organization. And we also have Stormwater Tech that has outreach responsibilities. So, you know, from the stormwater side, we feel like we're in a good position from a stormwater education and outreach and with Fox Wolf Watershed. We'd like to see Brown County take a larger regional role in sharing educational content with municipal customers. And when I'm talking about I'm talking, you know, like social media posts, proper battery recycling, you know, that type of recycling. I'm not talking about necessarily like our curbside recycling program that we currently have.
Can I ask a point of clarification? Is she talking about the, like, Brown County, is it Port Authority where Mark works? Or is she talking about like Brown County is like, don't they have like a sustainability commission?
Tri-county recycling.
No, it's through through
She's
Brown
talking
County.
about,
Yep.
like, where Mark works. Okay.
Yep. So she said, I'm not sure what the Sustainability Commission could provide, but if they were interested, it would be beneficial for a group to help develop content for a campaign on recycling and waste management education. So that's the feedback. But as far as like brand new initiatives from a staff perspective, unless it overlaps with a lot of our current work that we have, like as a part of our normal, you know, jobs and job descriptions and things that need to get done, it would be a tough task to implement or even kickstart brand new programs or brand new initiatives. So
It's a good nugget for all of the work group leaders to remember as we kind of follow up from this is focus on work that you can likely achieve without a lot of city staff involvement. Is that fair, Melissa?
Well, I was gonna say something similar to this, like, I was really happy to have like a brainstorming session, because we haven't really done this before, but I was more happy, because I would like to get input from the commission on things, but also, like, I think it is when I make a list in my head, I'm like, I don't even want, you have to have staff support. In general, so I wanna know what their priorities are more than my list. Like, or I have this kind of idea list or whatever, but like, is there something on there, or how can we better support the staff in the current things that are going on? Like implementing the clean energy plan or solar, like the green stormwater, like
sure.
where in there could we?
So like with our stormwater technician having outreach responsibilities, there are some basic things that we have to do from our MS4 permitting. So like leaf litter collection, salt, you know, all of those kinds of things, and green stormwater infrastructure fits in with that. But flood resiliency is like even extra, you know, so there's still a need for, you know, the work that I'm doing to get the word out more. So the idea that you brought forward about having that other partnership with, you know, to highlight more flood resiliency in the region in general, I think would be helpful, because that's not necessarily something our stormwater tech is gonna just take and run with, because there's already a lot of other things that he's doing in addition to some of the outreach work that he does. But I thought this was really good feedback from the director as far as, you know, proper recycling for batteries, battery containing devices, you know, with, you know, not putting those things in your waste containers. There's just a lot of different guidance that Brown County could be supplying to the municipal partners that are part of Tri-County recycling. So, you know, we're looking for more, you know,
So when you say
more information and education that we could push out, just like we get from Newsk every month. You know, it's like, hey, this month it's salt, next month it's pet waste. And not put, clean up after your pets because that contaminates our surface waters and our and contaminates stormwater runoff even more. So there's a lot of things like that we got through that organization, that it's not like making up a whole brand new campaign.
Yeah. It's
So,
being given the tools and resources to then distribute a little bit
right,
instead of creating those.
exactly,
Yep.
yeah.
And then kind of to your point of like wanting to know, so the Parks Department did meet and I reached out, Melissa reached out as well, but I reached out 3 weeks ago for any staff to add to my running list,
Mm.
and they had it on their ops team, which is a bi-weekly meeting, and the only thing that came from that was I've noticed other departments getting e-vehicles. A lot of my ideas just involve awareness and making this initiative part of the planning process, which is where I like tied in that like taking the data and reading out and making a plan and like setting in for the process. So that was the only,
So it was,
Feedback.
I've noticed other departments getting e-vehicles and then what?
and then just spreading the awareness of the e-vehicles and adding that to our planning process.
Right,
Um,
well, I think there,
So-
we
Because they
could,
would like EVs.
yes.
Yeah.
It was very confusing. Yeah.
They
So
wanted
it
it.
had to
Yeah.
be vehicles. That's where I like wrote in. I wrote in that like using the current vehicle data and applying it to department specific recommendations.
we are leasing more hybrid vehicles.
Yes,
Just to be clear, they're not electric.
they're not
vehicles.
EV. Yeah,
They are not, well, they technically, they get the EV sticker because that's Department of Transportation,
Yeah.
that's what they give you. But they're hybrid vehicles, they're not plug-in hybrid vehicles or all electric. The only all electric vehicles are with PD and with Metro Transit.
Yep.
But
so
then
they're
that's,
open to.
oh, yeah, they should
that,
be. I
so.
mean, that's a direction, especially with the
Mhm.
expiration of the federal tax credits for EVs is, okay, well, that's going away. And we don't have the charging infrastructure in any of our parking ramps or in any of our parking lots yet.
Yeah,
So we're probably gonna keep buying more EVs,
yeah.
not EV,
Hybrids.
hybrids, yeah,
But just so
yeah.
you guys are aware, Parks Department had 3 weeks to meet and talk, and
And that's what you got.
that's all I got. So
But I think thank you to both of you for engaging city staff, and I totally agree, Julia. I would love. That is, again, part of why I wanted to go through this process is to get a chance for things to not just come from us, but to engage with the community. Again, I'm using the word stakeholders, whatever, right? Like city staff, the mayor's office, community, right? I reached out to our youth advisory council. So really just like a cadence for getting input on what are people already doing and what do you want help on, right? Where can we be most useful? So I totally agree with that perspective and appreciate.
So what is the plan then to take this huge list? and
Great question.
Prioritize it.
Yeah, so the next step I think will be for me to clean this up. We talked through which work groups each thing would be assigned to. So I'm gonna send this out to work groups specifically. So I'll put together, well, actually, I'll just arrange it by work group and then I'll probably send it out to the group. Is that allowed, Melissa?
I'm sorry.
Can I send an email to the full group?
They all have to be blind copied.
Yep, as long as I blind copy, so I can send it to you and blind copy everyone or
Yes.
something. Okay. So that's what I'll do, probably like in the next week, is I'll clean up the list, organize it by work group, and then send it out, and then the work groups it'll be completely up to you, which things you decide are priorities, based on our conversation, based on, what we've talked about so far. One thing I still want to cover, I think we have some members of the public. I want to take a moment to see if there's anything else they want to add. But then I want to hear from work group leaders that we haven't yet heard from, if you are requesting any additional support for your work group. Because we have some pretty we have some great ideas and some big things, and this is gonna takes some work, right? And so part of what I hope to see with this process is that we can tackle like realistic things that we can do with the people that we have on our work groups, right? And so that we can even just feel like, okay, this is like the 1 or 2 things that we have to do, right? We don't have to do 15 things, let's do 1 or 2. And then you're free, right? We've talked about it, we've gone through the process thing, like, okay, what are the priorities? And then you can just focus on the things that you can accomplish. So for work group leaders, I would encourage you to, when you receive this list and in preparation for our next meeting, to really think about what's realistic to achieve. And you have the green light to have like 1 thing on your list. If everyone can have 1 thing, that's great. We're gonna keep the list, right? So we'll revisit it next year. So where there are multi-year things, right? Or if there's something we want to do, but step 1 is funding, then just make that your action item, right? Is like secure funding for a pilot compost program, right? So that's what I said, a lot of words. Did I answer your question about next steps sufficiently? Okay, anyone else on the commission want to weigh in on this before I open it up to any members of the public? All right, I think we need a motion to open the floor.
A motion to open the floor.
Thank you, Julia.
Second.
Ooh, we had like 3 seconds. It is seconded. You could pick anyone, Melissa, to give the
I
second.
picked Ned.
Okay.
And I take vote.
Any discussion? All in favor of opening the floor?
I
Right.
Any opposed? All right, members of the public, would anyone like to weigh in?
And they have to
Okay.
state their name and their.
And you have to say
home
your name
address.
and home address if you want to say anything. Anyone want to say anything?
Hello, I am Selena Darrow. My address is 2768 Creekwood Circle, Green Bay, Wisconsin, 54313. And as you know, I am the founder and executive director of Rooted In. So thank you for your time. This has been really fun to listen in on and to hear all the great ideas about to support all of the working groups. There's just a couple things. I wanted to mention that the city of Milwaukee has applied for a regional food system partnership grant with the federal government for $1 million. They were supposed to hear back on whether that award was made in September, and clearly now with the government being shut down, there's still a delay on that decision. But if that money is awarded to the city of Milwaukee, they have allocated both $150,000 to Rooted In and to Dane County for the 3 largest municipalities in the state to work together regarding food waste reduction initiatives. And so once those dollars, like, I'm just assuming we're going to get the dollars. That's how I kind of roll. But clearly those dollars, would be available to support any waste reduction initiatives that the commission working group would want to pursue in the future. So we're happy to be partners with, as the working group prioritizes things moving forward. And then excitingly, for the first time ever, Delaware North has made a food donation to Rooted In this week from Lambeau Field. We recovered 700 pounds that would have otherwise ended up in the garbage. And so we are going, that was just step 1. But we are going to phase in a relationship with them to essentially start recovering food from every source where it could potentially be going to waste at Lambeau Field. So we are just thrilled. We're working with United Way using their hubcap vehicle because we really want to show the community that, we have stakeholders invested. Amplify Health is invested as far as a population health supporter as well as United Way. Eventually, we will be working with some of the smaller to medium-sized food pantries to distribute some of that food to them. And so we truly are, I feel blessed to be able to recover this food from going to waste and getting it out to our food insecure population.
Awesome. Thank you, Selena, and thanks for the work you're doing with Rooted In. I also took the liberty of making a note that you volunteer to partner with a waste work group in reducing food waste. Is that fair to say?
That is fair to say.
All right.
And
Thanks so much.
Just one quick wrap up. I will be meeting with Mayor Genrich tomorrow and Melissa to talk about some things that we are hoping to pursue with the Green Bay Public School District as well.
Awesome. Thanks so much. And
Yep.
thanks for being here. Excellent. All right. I think we'll have to close the floor. Last call for members of the public. All right, I move to close the floor. Krista moves to close the floor.
Maria will second.
All right, any discussion? All in favor of closing the floor? Aye. Any opposed? All right, the floor is closed. Last thing I want to cover in this section is work group members. So we heard from Healthy Habitat. Waste is not currently represented, but I can say, especially with the amount of waste initiatives that have been suggested, the waste work group needs some more support. So if anyone on the commission is willing or able to participate in the waste work group, there's a need. Jenny, would you like to recruit anyone else for the clean energy work group? Do you need any more support?
I think we can handle it, Krista.
All right, thank you. Julia?
Sure.
Yep,
Someone wants to help.
all right. So I'm gonna put work groups
And
and
I think
need.
it goes without saying that I'm more than happy to contribute to the
That one. Well, you are.
climate resiliency, because and the clean energy.
You, whether you like it or not.
I don't wanna be like unofficially like, well, she's not volunteering.
Oh, yeah.
No, we can't.
You're
we can't-
okay,
okay.
that's your job, you don't have to
Yeah.
volunteer,
Yeah.
our job is to make your life
Exactly.
easier.
My group doesn't exist without you, so.
So climate resilience and
It would be
waste.
nice to have someone else from.
No, I agree.
Climate resilience and waste, I think the community engagement is okay for now based on like what we've heard and Maria offering to support it. I think we have what we need for that. So climate resilience and waste. And I would encourage everyone to obviously evaluate your capacity. But please serve on at least one work group, as that's really going to be the focus of our 2026 like meetings, and all of that is to be work group centric. So if you're not on a work group, the waste work group leader is Mark, climate resilience work group leader is Julia. And we'll probably revisit that next week when we finalize, I don't know, next month when we discuss what the work group priorities are. So this is not your last chance. Anyone else have anything you want to say on this topic? All right, this auto saves, I don't have to hit save. I'm gonna go back to our agenda because I think we're done with that. We get work group reports. First up, climate resilience.
Yeah, so it's in the agenda, but just two things really. With the East River Collaborative, we've been working with both Wello and Extension and get perspectives from residents about flooding on the East River in those neighborhoods. So we can find out things related to their experiences and then things that they think would help with reducing flood impacts. And so Wello interviewed a set of residents, and so we'll have a final report with recommendations from that soon. But then also we're gonna launch a mail survey to the residents in the, I think it's the 100-year or within the floodplain. And yeah, so I just put the draft survey, it's getting really close to being finalized. I put the draft survey in here so people knew what we were doing.
Are you looking for, is that informational or are you looking for input?
It's pretty close to finalized. If you have
Informational.
something burning that you
Yeah.
feel like needs to be included or changed, we're not done yet, so you can, if you feel like there's something in there that you really want added, or is a red flag, or, yeah.
But primarily informational, you're not.
It is more just
Yeah,
informational, but
Okay.
again.
Awesome.
Actually, if any of you want to download it and take it and tell me how long it takes you, I would love that. That would be like the best thing you could help with is,
All right.
And where is it on the East River?
no, it's in here. I mean, or if I can
Or you
send
could
it,
just
I
go
can
for
send
it.
you the, I can send.
The link, there's a link.
No, it's not
live
It's
yet.
not, well, it's not, yeah.
It's in our
but This is,
packet.
it's in the packet.
Okay.
Is the draft survey.
Oh, yep, I saw that, I just didn't know if there was a.
She just meant you could download
Oh.
that and take it.
And print it
tell her
off,
how
so
long.
like if you
Mhm.
print it off and
Okay.
take it and time yourself, I would love that. And tell
Okay.
me how long you.
You could also just like look at it and say, how long does it take me to like answer these questions, right?
That would be fine if you
Yeah.
didn't wanna print it off.
Yeah.
But if you want the full
Experience.
kinesthetic experience
Okay,
of how long, that would be really helpful to me.
great.
So then I can, yeah.
And by when do you need to have that feedback?
I
We're
guess
gonna
in the
offer it.
next 2 weeks.
2 weeks. All right. So if you're able to take that survey or pretend to take that survey in the next 2 weeks, and let Julia know how long it took you. Great. Anything else?
Nope, that's it.
Awesome. Thank you. Do we need to receive and place on file that stuff?
I think that would be one.
Okay. I move to receive the climate resilience work group update and place it on file. Krista moves that.
Second,
Krista initiated,
Yep.
Ned was the loudest, so.
I don't know why we draft and go.
Oh, I didn't notice. I noticed it at least
Okay.
some pages. All right.
Everyone voted.
All in favor
I
of receiving it? Aye. Any opposed to filing this? All right, it will be filed. Next up, we have the Healthy Habitat for All work group. Ned.
I think Maria was good.
Yeah.
We were going to talk about the replacement to Nomo May, right?
Yeah, yep.
Yeah.
So kind of touched on some of it already. So haven't heard from the grant, but having partners, and we have some other we got some donations and everything that are going to improve our greenhouse. So we're slowly improving our capacity in our greenhouse. That's what the grant is to expand our capacity so that we can have the ability to grow that many plants. And so even if we don't get the grant, we still have some capacity. And it sounds like we're going to be moving towards that, especially with having the partnership now with Botanical Gardens and Stone Silo. It can still be an impactful project, even if the city or Conservation Corps only can contribute 75 kits instead of a full 100 kits. So that plant kit, as it's planned, would be 15 plants. There would be 5 species, so a grass species, and then a blooming flower for all the seasons, and then we would have both a shade variety kit and a sun variety kit. We are planning to have it run very similarly to the Rain Barrel program, where people would, register and get a registration number, and it would be a lottery system. We are gonna only have a set pickup days, so we're thinking of doing just 2 pickup days. And that's something when they're registering, they have to be available to pick up their plant kit. If they don't pick up their plant kit, they forfeit their plant kit. We just don't have the capacity to be like, stop over whenever you want to pick it up. So it's gonna be 2 dates, a long enough period for people to come pick up their plant kits. We're not gonna do deliveries, we're not gonna make exceptions, unfortunately.
I think that's a very smart idea.
It is what it is, and if you can't fit into that
Then
There are other
the program is
resources.
not for you.
Yes, there are other
Yes, I
resources.
agree.
We are still fine tuning the name of that program because along with this, we are looking to get like signage as well to kind of tie to the Plan Natural Landscape and kind of the pollinator corridor. And so we've been kind of throwing around different catchy names like, you know, prairie pockets or pollinator pockets. I forget what the
Growing green.
growing green was one of them, and so we keep going back and forth, and so we haven't settled on a name yet that would, you know, be worked on the sign. So
The growing green makes me think of fertilizer. And
That's kind of-
road
Or
trees.
money.
yeah,
Oh, there you go. Yeah.
there's been like we all chat GBT'd this, and there were some like fun names that came up, but then we always are like, like that doesn't fully incorporate it. So
Right.
we'd welcome any suggestions because I think we've probably gone through like, honestly, probably like 60 names at this point in emails. So.
Generations of.
But we want to make it a sign that not only is for like this 1 year plant giveaway, but then future years and also like Plan Natural Landscape. And so something that, you know, really promotes native plantings, pollinators, converting turf grass, all of those themes. So
For what it's, I just captured this also on the work group ideas. And for what it's worth, when I was on the Green Stormwater Infrastructure Tour, there was a member of the community who asked about No Mow May and if it would be coming back. So I just like informally was like, hey, I'm on the Sustainability Commission. Tell me what you liked about No Mow May. And she loved the signs
Mhm.
also. She was like, I really just would love if there could be a sign for whatever the replacement is. And I was like, okay, I'll pass that along.
Mhm.
So for what it's worth,
people love signs.
yeah, that was like her one thing. Ned's on board too.
Yeah, I mean, I've shared some stuff with Ned a while back. I can't remember if you were on it or anything, Maria, but there is like that you do want to avoid any like visuals with bees.
Mm-hmm.
And this, you know, there's other, I talked to like green design, like communication companies that are working with Milwaukee, and they absolutely avoid visuals with bees.
Yep.
So I know that's
Is
gonna
there a
create a
name?
little heartbreaking.
I was gonna
but
say one of the names that kept coming
Um,
up was like Bees of the Bay, and I was like, no, that's too narrow. Like it needs to be broad enough but specific enough.
And then the only, I mean, it seems like you're going forward with pollinator in general, but that term is very ambiguous to what
Yes.
people think of in their head.
100%, yeah.
You know, but butterfly garden's pretty common. If you go to Stein's, it says on like the plant butterfly friendly, like butterfly and birds, people love those things.
Mhm.
So visuals and stuff, I would center around that.
Mm-hmm.
I support what Julie is saying with birds and butterflies, even if it's, you know, like I know pollinator is used a lot by people who are advocating for pollinators, but I remember sitting down with somebody who, you know, works in facilities and they didn't know what a pollinator was. And so I think there might be just like a disconnect for some folks.
Yeah.
What's that?
I said there's so many different types of pollinators, you know, that.
Yeah, and I think it doesn't necessarily like it's, I don't know. It's not as
My question is, what's the goal of the program? Because No Mow May was to benefit pollinators, and that's what it like stood for.
right.
Part of that was the education and advocacy of what are pollinators. So my question is like, what's the purpose of a program like this, if not to spread awareness and educate?
100%, but no one's gonna get educated from a sign. And you don't wanna, so you wanna like point people towards maybe your website, and the pollinator corridor has a very specific name.
Mhm.
So that's where you talk about like pollinators and what they are and things.
And that's why we were
It's just
thinking
more
like the
like-
pollinator pocket, because it like is a very similar name, and then people can be a part of it, and it really is playing on the alliteration and the planned natural landscape for pollinator pocket of plant management, and so
Mhm.
Yeah.
thinking of that. But yeah, I totally agree with like the graphics and not putting like a lot of bees on the graphics. But as far as like the name, I'm not for doing butterfly gardens or bee gardens, because then we're just continuing the misinformation. Like Nomome is detrimental if not done correctly. And it was one thing that I'm very glad that we're not doing anymore, because you know, if not used correctly, some of these programs can do more harm than good. So I don't want to perpetuate like only doing butterfly gardens, because then you have people who spray bees and get rid of all of the bees, and then now it's not benefiting what we need it to benefit.
True.
To that end, the other thing that this woman I talked to really liked was the idea of QR codes for more information. Again, I'm sure it's not.
We have those
novel, but-
on the signs too.
Yeah.
Yeah, yep.
So to tie things together, right? So
Yeah.
whatever terminology you use, you could have like a QR code that goes to like a page with more information, or the pollinator maps, or whatever it ends up being.
Yeah,
but-
and I'm just saying, like, the sign only does so much, and
Yeah.
people have like a mental model in their head exactly when they see a bee, they think things. They think, oh, that looks like it's gonna hurt.
I don't want to
People-
attract more
People are
bees.
afraid of
Yeah.
people. I think I just met someone who was afraid of fluttering, actually was afraid of butterflies, but that's that's all different. situation, But
They should not have one of these.
yeah,
going
but
outside.
people love hummingbirds, and
Yeah.
that's like a major on here, you know.
But do hummingbirds need our support? Like that's where I'm
So it's
struggling.
like tapping into what people already
It's-
like. and
Yeah.
suggesting
It's
it
like,
too.
it's the
Yeah.
way you're communicating
Mm-hmm.
to get them interested or get them to understand what's going on right there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. No, I see what you're saying. I just don't want to perpetuate the misguided information that we see a lot of times in these greenwashing programs. So like butterfly garden, and then people spray for any bees. It's like,
Yeah.
well, now you aren't benefiting anything at that point.
But your sign is just like someone plants a nice pollinator garden,
Mhm.
and it's just showing whoever's walking by that what it is. It's not telling people to spray bees. Like,
So
you
the
would
biggest,
into their information, you would go to the QR code.
Mhm.
the things we know for sure are that we got this awesome program for plant kits.
Mhm.
Some naming and signage and other details to be determined. But we have an exciting replacement program for Nomome that will continue to support pollinators and educate the public. Fair?
Mhm.
Awesome.
The only thing I wanna say is, I don't think we should shy away from using the word pollinator. I don't think there's
That's
any,
what I'm
I don't
saying.
think there's any harm in that.
No.
I don't think it scares people away. I think, you know, if you use that in the language, in the sign language somewhere. And then depending on what the visuals are, you know, people are probably gonna be drawn more to the visual than the actual words
Agreed.
anyway. I'm just looking at a sign right now from the. I know I'm not gonna say this right, it's the Xerxes.
Xerxes
Yeah,
Society,
Yeah,
yeah.
Xerxes
Yeah.
Society, yeah, right, the pollinator habitat, you know.
I mean, there's
these are their
it's
little yard signs.
pollinator.org.
Yeah.
Runs Pollinator Week every year, and
Yeah.
so
And I
it's
just think it's kind of, you know,
a pretty
plan for
common-
pollinators and protected from pesticides, that's what their sign says.
What's
you know.
common to someone who works in that field and is surrounded by it all the time, and people like us, is not the same as being common to somebody else, though,
Mhm.
in general. And so, yeah, some of the stuff I shared with Ned was like surveys done to see what people
Mm.
understood about the term pollinator
Right.
versus things like that.
But they're not gonna get in the program without, you know, getting some education.
Yes, exactly. Like the
You're
people
not
who
just
aren't
gonna hand
gonna
out
be
signs because somebody says, well, I have black-eyed Susans in my front yard.
exactly.
That's
Yeah.
not how it works.
The
I
sign-
guess I have
That's
one,
not how it's going to work, but you know what I mean, like, they're either gonna have to have a plan, they should either do a plan natural landscape or get a kit. Or, you know, it's not gonna be a free sign giveaway.
Daniela, did you have something you wanted to say?
I don't know if the naming of it is going to be decided today or if that's gonna continue discussion, so I'll table it to whenever that discussion continues.
We'll
Sounds
probably
good.
need to have a name by December in order to get signs ready and designed though, so. It's not something that we can just keep debating.
Right.
Yeah.
We thought,
And I do think, I mean, we can continue it, but the whole signage thing was, you know. If we get the grant will help pay for these initial signs. And we wanna make sure that it's a program name and a design that we can live with for a while. Um. And that we can continue finding a funding source for.
And these wouldn't be like the No Mow May signs. They're not yard signs. They're like more of the permanent.
Right, like similar to
flag.
like the wild ones.
Yeah.
You have, you know, a small metal sign, so
Yes.
even in the future. My recommendation were to be, okay, fine, we've got it started with. With a grant and maybe we can find more grant money in the future, but it would be a people would pay. They would have to have a copay or something.
Cost share, yeah.
To cost share the cost of a sign, it wouldn't necessarily be a freebie.
Kind of similar to like the homegrown national park. Like you can register your yard and get like a little sign and that sort of thing. So something like along that line where, you know, it's basic enough that depending on how the program ebbs and flows and how the Plan Natural Landscape expands, it could fit both of those.
lots of stuff to consider. Any more on this update?
I'll turn to Ned. I don't have anything else.
Ned, you probably can't tell, but we're all looking at the screen where we see you.
Oh, well, I have a lot of opinions on this, but I think we've been here a long time and we can hear my opinions next time.
Sounds good. I don't have that update. Do I need to receive and place on file anything from that? There's no attachment, so it'll be in the notes anyway, right, Melissa?
The notes.
Yeah, well,
The minutes.
do we need
The
to
minutes,
receive the minutes?
yeah, it'll be the minutes.
It'll be in the minutes,
Mhm.
so we don't have to receive and place on file for that?
No, you don't.
Okay. Great. Hey, we're at the end. Our next meeting is Thursday, November 16th. Where we will revisit and work again on what we put together, and I'll be sending this out to the group blind copied in the next week or so. So folks can start working on your work group plan for 2026. With that, we have come to the adjournment.
November 16th is a Sunday.
Is it?
You mean Thursday, the 13th of November?
That would be the correct date.
Because today is the 16th, maybe.
Okay.
I will correct that.
Thank you.
I went to like add it to my calendar right away and then I was like, did I misread that?
Yeah.
Okay, perfect.
Good. It will be Thursday, November 13th. Will be our next meeting, but the rest of it still holds.
I didn't show up on Sunday.
Good thing. Okay. Awesome.
Thursday.
It's a
It
Thursday
is,
again,
yep.
yes.
There's common council meeting things that are bumping other meetings.
Great. Okay, I think we need a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Thanks,
I'll
Ned.
second. I'll second that.
Jenny, thank you, Jenny. All in favor of adjourning?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Adjourned. Thank you all for your long commitment tonight.
Thanks,
And-
everybody.
Thank you.